Okay, welcome everyone. I will we will first give it a try in English. We'll try to explain all the commands and all the options associated with the commands, and then we will, if need be, we will explain the same material in Amharic or Tigrigna. Before I dive into like what are those Linux commands that we're going to discuss today, I want to first answer why most companies use Linux and why most servers have Linux instead of Windows or any other operating system. The general answer is because Linux is open source, and like open source software has bigger adoption most of the times, and there is always a commercial version of that open source. When I say open source, I mean people come together, they collaborate on work together in building and adding features to the software. So Linux as an operating system has a big audience, big adoption, big community that supports it. If there is an error, you can always Google and find the solutions for Linux, because it's a lot of people using the same software. So if they run into the problem and they documented it somewhere on the online, you can easily find that and start troubleshooting the issue. So in our case now, we are using maybe Ubuntu, or we're using some Kali Linux. There are many different flavors to Linux. The one we are using today, I'm not even sure which flavor we're using, because this is an online terminal. In your virtual machine, you have Ubuntu. Ubuntu is one flavor of Linux. There are different flavors of Linux. For the case of this class, I don't think it matters which flavor you're using. You can use whatever suits you. They all work the same for us. The commands I'm going to use work the same in any of those flavors. The first command we're going to learn, okay, so this is a list of the commands that we're going to learn today. The first one is pwd. The full form is print working directory. What that means is it will display in which folder or in which directory we're currently at. Say if you were in your computer and you double clicked and you're inside a folder, then you go inside another folder. So you're inside, like you're 2 levels deep into the server, into the folder. Sometimes you get lost, you don't know where you're at. So all you could do is you come here, you say pwd, and it tells you you're in the folder home, and inside the folder home, there's another folder called user. That's where you are at right now. Print working directory, print the current directory. That's one, okay. And why are we actually using this terminal instead of actually double clicking on the folders? And you could have just like double clicked on some folders and did that. Most servers don't have that graphical user interface. They don't have something to click. Instead, they have this kind of terminal. Most of the times it's like a black screen, and you just have to learn some commands and you start using those commands. That's how you navigate your way through the folders and find the files you're looking for. Okay, so that's one useful command. Okay, pwd, we know where we're at. If we're lost, we can always just do pwd and we can see where exactly we're at. Second command we're going to learn is ls. Now, in generally, if I just click here and let me just clear the screen. To clear the screen, you can do Control L, or you can just say clear and do enter. Either one is fine. Now, I can say ls, and what ls does is it lists the files inside the folder. Now, when I did this, I know that I'm inside the folder user, correct? I'm inside home and I'm inside user. Now, inside this user, there might be a lot of files. It could be music files, it could be text files, it could be any kind of files. I want to list them. I want to know what is inside this folder. What I could do is ls, list, and then hit enter. So because this is an online terminal, it's not showing me everything there is. It's just telling me welcome to calc.term. Maybe that's the only file that's there. However, if I want to know everything that's inside of that folder, a lot of the files will be hidden because we're not going to change anything inside those folders, but they are there for the purpose of running this terminal or running some system within this terminal. So they're hidden files. We don't change them, but somebody who developed this put them there for a reason. Just to test that, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file inside this folder. Let me just clear the screen first. I will create a file inside this folder. I will say touch space and give a name. The name for the file. I will just call the file auto.txt and I hit enter. Now I want to know what's inside my folder. So far, what do I have inside? I'll just do ls and hit enter. I have that file that was there from earlier. Welcome to cocalc.term, and I also see my file. So that way I can view what's inside this folder. Now, what about the hidden files I was talking about earlier? Well, any command like ls that lists the files comes with options. There are additional options that you add to that command to be able to have an additional view. Like let's say you want to view everything in a list, like list out everything. You could just say -l, long list, and then you want them to be organized by time. You could just add t, that's list by time. Then you could say I want to list them out by time. Okay, let's just see this first. So it's still the same files, just those two files. However, what do we see? It tells us more information about those files. It tells us that their type, this first thing you see here, tells you the type. If it's a dash, it's telling you it's a text file. It's some kind of file. It could be a text file, it could be a PDF file, but it's telling you it's a file. If this was a D, it's telling you it's a directory. If this is an L, it's telling you it's a link. Link means like shortcuts. In Windows, if I have a file here and I want a shortcut, I can just always right click, you come here and you say shortcut, right? And then the shortcut kind of asks you like where you want to put the location of the shortcut, location of the file where you want to create a shortcut for it. This is in Windows. But here in Linux, to be able to do the same thing, there is a specific command. We're not going to cover that today. But if you see an L here, it's telling you that what you're looking at right now is not the actual file. It's actually a shortcut to another file. If this was an L. Okay. Now, let's not discuss this right now, but we will cover this in a later class. These tell us the permissions. There are permissions. So whoever created this file is the owner of the file. And he has certain permissions. He has a permission to read it or to write, or the third one would be to execute the file. Of course, execution of files is only if it's a script. And we're going to discuss that in later classes as well. For now, all we need to know is there is different ways to see what's inside of your folder. You can go with just ls and see just the files. But if you want to know like the date when it was modified and stuff, like more additional information, then you could do ls dash and then an option. Okay. Now I'll do clear and hit enter. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we have, of course, we created a file earlier. Now we want to create a folder instead. What we can do is mkdir. What does this stand for? Make directory, make a folder. So we say make directory and then just give a name of a directory. I could say songs. Maybe that's the name of the folder. And I could hit enter. Now I want to know that I could actually create the folder or not. I want to know what's inside of my current folder. I could still go and do the same thing I did earlier, ls, and hit enter. As you can see, it has a different color because it's, sorry. Mm-hmm. Is there someone speaking?
Yeah.
If you could please mute yourself if you're not.
Make me enter so that you don't get
Okay, sorry.
Always.
Okay, made you a host. I will continue and apologize for that.
Sorry about that.
No, okay. So basically when you have songs here, you can see it has a different color. It indicates that this is not a file because obviously they have different colors. But at a later point, let's say after 1 day or 2 days, you don't know if this is a folder or a file. What you want to do is do the same thing again, ls-lt or just L and hit enter. Right now, it's telling you here, we talked about it earlier. We said this first character here indicates the type of the file that's in your directory. If it's a dash, it means it's a file. If it's a D, it means it's a directory, a folder. If it's an L, it means it's a link. So we know that we just created successfully a directory, a folder. Okay, awesome. Now, after we created this folder, let's say I want to remove this folder. I want to delete this folder. All I have to do is remove directory and give the name, songs. Hit enter. Now let's check if we have removed it or not. Let's do ls-l. That songs is no longer here. So we were able to delete that file. The file is not there. So remove directory. Something to keep in mind. Like because this directory right here is empty, obviously when you first create a folder, the folder comes empty, right? If you have an empty folder, you can use rmdir and give the name and it will delete it. If the folder contains files within it, you cannot use rmdir. That will not work. You'll see an error. Let's demonstrate that. For example, let's first create that same directory again. Songs. Now, let me clear the screen first, and let's do ls-l. So we have the songs folder again, we have it here, okay. Now I want to go inside that folder. And by the way, I apologize, I actually forgot a very important command here, which I will discuss now. The command is cd, change directory. I want to be inside this specific folder. So I want to change my directory. I'll say cd, change directory, space, and then type out songs. cd, change directory, songs. It's as if you are inside a folder and you see a folder and you double click inside the folder to be inside of it. That's the same idea here. And I hit enter. As you can see, it's telling me that we are inside the songs folder. How do I confirm we're inside the songs folder? How do I know for sure where I'm at? We learned this command for displaying the current directory. If we want to know where we're at, we always can do pwd. It tells you you are in the home folder. Inside the home folder, there's a user folder. And inside the user folder, there's a new folder called songs, and you're inside of that folder. Print working directory. That's what it helps us with. It tells us where we're at. Now we can clear the screen. Now I want to create a file inside this folder. I'll just say touch, and I'll call it bk.txt and hit enter. Then I wanna check, did I actually create the file? How do I check? ls list everything that's inside of this folder, dash lt, or just dash l will be fine, and hit enter. It's telling you its type is a file, obviously because it's a dash, and the name of the file is bk.txt. So we have successfully created a file inside the directory songs. Perfect. Okay. Now let's go back one step behind. Like if I do pwd here, I don't want to be inside of the songs folder. I want to be home users. I want to be back here. Remember how I earlier did change directory and I got inside of this? I want to be out of this folder. one step out. What you can do is, you can do CD, which is change directory. And the shortcut is you put 2 dots. This means you want to go out one step behind. Like from here, you want to go back to here. Dot, dot. CD space dot, dot. You are here. You want to go back one step to a parent folder. And hit enter. Now do pwd to check where you're at right now. There you go. We're actually in home and users. Okay, let me clear the screen. And then here I can do ls-l, where we have the welcome file, auto, and songs. Now what I want to do is, we know that songs has a file inside of it, right? Let's try to delete the songs folder using remove directory, rmdir songs. We're trying to use rmdir to delete a folder that's not empty, and hit enter. What is it telling us? Failed to remove songs, directory not empty. So we can either manually go inside of songs, delete the files, and then come back out and try to delete it using rmdir. That's one way to do it. The other way, the more efficient way to do it is, you would use rm space -r, which is remove recursively. Recursively means like if you have 10 folders nested within each other, it deletes each of those one by one. Like let's say you have a folder here called home, users, and songs, right? You go out to the homes, and from homes onwards, you want to delete everything after it in one shot. If you have 10 folders nested within each other, you can just go to the parent folder and say, remove recursively all the files under this specific hierarchy. So here I could just say rm-r f, force it. Basically, you know how when you want to delete something in Windows, you get a pop-up. It asks you, are you sure you want to remove this file? I'm sure everyone knows that. Like when you want to try to delete, you'll get a question. Are you sure you want to remove this? Especially, I mean, not when you want to move it to the recycle bin, but especially when you want to entirely remove the file, like force remove it. Similarly, in Linux, if you want to avoid that question that asks you, oh, are you sure? You can just use the -f. So you say rm remove recursively everything inside that's nested, and force it. Don't ask me questions about am I sure or not. And then the folder songs, remove recursively everything inside of here and songs itself, and don't ask me any question if I'm sure. Hit enter. Now if you do ls-l to just confirm, it's gone. Songs folder is gone and everything inside of it is gone. Okay, we can do clear to clear the screen. And then the next one we're going to look at is the CP. CP meaning copy. You want to copy one file from one folder to another, or within the same folder, you just want to copy a file and have another copy. In Windows, what you would do is you just right click on the file and you would say copy and then paste, right? Similarly, in Linux, this is the equivalent. Let's say first I'll do ls just to see what files I got here. I have auto. What I want to do is I will copy this and name it auto2, like I have another copy. So I could do cp auto.txt, and I want to call it auto2.txt. Now if I do ls, I have auto and I have auto2.txt. So it's kind of like I went here, I did right click, copy, and then paste. But obviously when you're pasting in the same folder, it always asks you to change the name, right? So that's why I gave it a different name. Similarly, you know, like just like in Windows, here as well, you cannot just name the same name for two files in the same directory. So you have to name the other one differently. Okay. Yes.
Just to interrupt, I do have some are asking me questions like
Yeah,
maybe I
sure. Okay.
might be too a little bit. They feel like this. I guess just the one that joined today. If you feel just like we said earlier, if you feel like you're stuck or if you're not understanding, don't worry. This will be repeated, or we can probably even make it easier in a different room. So just hang in there. I just want to say that. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Um, are you guys able to hear me clearly? Because I got a message that my voice was breaking.
Yes.
Yeah, voice is fine.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me carry on. Thank you. So we were at CP, which is copy. You copy a file and you just paste it somewhere. Could be in the same directory, it could be somewhere else, but that's up to you. Copy and paste. In addition to that, we have move. Move is the equivalent of cut and paste in Windows. Like you cut the file and you paste it somewhere else. You're not copying and pasting, you're cutting the file and then moving it to somewhere else and pasting it there. So what you want to do in this case is, first let's see, ls-l, list everything that we have on this folder. And then we have auto and we have auto2. Just for sake of demonstration, I will first create a folder so that I can move the file inside that folder. So to create a folder, you first do make directory, create a folder, and then I'll call it, this time I'm gonna call it music instead. Okay, so then I'll do ls-l just to check what we have. Okay, we have the welcome file, we have auto, we have auto2, and we have music folder. We just created it. Okay, let me clear the screen. Clear, and then do this one more time just to see it. Okay, this is what we have. Now what I want to do is I want to move this auto.txt from this specific level to inside this folder. Cut it from here and paste it inside of this folder. What I want to do is move it. mv move. Okay, where is this file? It's in the current directory, so I can just type it out. Then where do you want to send it to? I want to send it inside of music. Okay, some might be asking, so what is with the dot slash? Dot slash means it's just a shorthand for saying from the current directory inside of the music folder. Current directory inside. So instead, you could have also do this. You could do this. You can do /home /user / I believe, what did we call it? Yeah, and then /music. I could do this. This is the full form. We call this absolute path. This is the absolute path to the folder. But the shorthand is short form. Current directory, like inside this folder, from inside this folder, in the music folder. Okay, and then hit enter. Then if you do ls-l, the file is gone. It's not here. It was here, but it's gone now. Where is it? I think it's inside of here. Let's confirm that. What we want to do is we want to first go inside of the music. How do we do that? It's change directory, like change your folder to music. And then inside of music, I want to know what's inside of music. How do I do that? I list the content. ls, list, long list. There you go. I have the auto.txt. So it's like cutting it from here, right click, cut, or and then come here inside of here and paste it there. That's what this command is, the move command. Let me clear the screen. The next command we have is cat, C-A-T, concatenate basically. And what this does is if you have a file and that file has some content and you want to print the contents of that file to the screen, you want to see what's inside of the file, you would use cat. Of course, there are other ones. You can use either cat, or you could use less, or you could use more. Either one will do pretty much the same, but they have additional reasons why we use them. And we generally just want to use cut. So cut, and then the name of the file. To demonstrate this, I need to add something inside of auto. I'll write something so that we can see it in action. Right here, I only have auto.txt. Let me open auto.txt first. So here, there is an online editor that comes bundled with Linux. It's called Nano. I hope I can open it. Just open Nano. And then here I'll say, I'm inside of the file. Welcome to the class. And then I believe to write to this, I could say control. To save the file, I'll say write out, which is control O. And then it asks me, is the file you want to write to? Do you want to save this file? I'll say enter. And then if I want to exit, it says control X right here. You see exit this editor. All right. So I just wrote something inside of this auto.txt file. Okay. Now I want to check if what I wrote was like, what I wanted. I don't want to be inside the editor, but I just want to know what's inside of here. I could just say cut auto.txt. There you go. It just printed to the screen, welcome to the class. So that's what's inside of the file. Okay. All right. And then the next command we have is man. What man is basically, it's a manual. It's a manual of, if you're in a restaurant, you ask for the manual and then the menu, and then you check like what they have, right? Similarly, this is just a manual that has everything that is, all for a manual for all the commands. If you don't want to by heart any of these, or at least if you just know what the command is, or you Google the command and you forgot, should I do -L or is it -F or is it -R? You don't want to by heart it. What you want to do is just type out man, and then you want to type out ls. That's the command that you want to know more about, and then hit enter. This is a document that lists what the command is and what options are available in that command. Let me expand this so you can see it. If I scroll up, so we are using, it's telling you ls is used for list information about the files, the current directory by default, of course, and sorts them alphabetically. If none, and that's just --sort will do the sorting for you. You have the -A option that you could use if you want to see everything, even the hidden files. You have, let's check what we used today. We were using -L. So let's see what -L stands for. Keep going down. Use a long listing format. So we used -L a lot today, and all it was doing is it's showing us a long listing. It gives us additional information about the files we're viewing. Okay, so anytime you forget anything, you can always come here and you could just do :Q to quit that manual. Say you want to know about the other one, move, for example. You can just do MV. MV stands for move or rename files. How do you use it? It's telling you how you use it. MV, and then you add your option. Your option could be whatever options that are available here. And then the source and the destination. The source, where you are right now, where the file is located, and destination, where you want to move the file to. Here you have all the details of the options that you can use with this command. So don't try to by heart any of these. One, you can always Google it. You're always allowed and encouraged to Google the commands. It's not you don't have to by heart any of these. And secondly, if you forgot how to use it, always come and check the manual. And then to exit the screen, you could just do : and then Q. What I did was : Q. Okay. So that's what we have for today. But I have, although I didn't use it, I will be sharing this file with you guys later. If you are using PWD, this is the syntax. You just use PWD. If you're using ls, you have the options to use -AL, -LT, or -LTR. I think it would be better if you can just, if you don't know any of these, before you Google them, just check it in the manual. Go to the manual, just do this at a later time, just do man ls, come here and check why I use this. Like, what does A stand for? You can check it here. What does L stand for? We just checked it down here. I pass right here. So sorry, dash L. Similarly, like just try to use each of these, and then you have copy to copy the file. You copy, and then you dash R, and then source destination. You don't know what dash R stands for? Come to the manual. Check the manual. mkdir, similarly, like mkdir, create a directory or a folder, and then just give it a name for your folder. Remove directory. I didn't have a syntax, but it's just remove the directory and then name of the folder. If you want to delete a file, you use rm and then dash rf to force and use it recursively, and then just give the name of the file or folder. Touch to create an empty file. Touch and then the name of the file, the text file. Move. You move from the source path to the destination path. Or you want to move, you have auto and you want to change that auto to auto 3. You can rename it by just doing the same thing. Move is used for moving files and for renaming files. And man, last but not least, is used for providing us with information about the command we're using. I think I have one more here. Cat, which is to print what's inside of the file, and that's it.